Hello there, and welcome back to the latest episode of Overcome Yourself, the podcast. As you know, my name is Nicole, and I'm so excited to be here today with Dale. Now, Dale has one incredible story. I'm not going to try. I want you to take it away, Dale, and tell us all about your story and how you've come to do what you do today.
Sure. Well, thank you very much. First off, I'd just like to thank you for having me on, Nicole. It's a great pleasure and it's an honor. And so basically, what I usually do is I start with a poem, which I was at Dartmouth College in 1975, and I got basically removed from campus and hospitalized for a psychotic break. So I rather than like go into details, I just have a poem that I recite that basically tells the story, and it goes like this. It's called Dale Reviewing What Actually Happened, and it goes like this. Hi, I'm God was the joke I made after Killer Dartmouth toke of some primo Ivy League smoke, which apparently caused me to choke because in hospital I awoke with roommate Gabriel, the main bloke who did my delusions angelically stroke. Even while doctor claimed my brain broke the moment divine gag I spoke, testifying I was only bit quack, which clinicians diagnosed as psychotic attack, preventing me from getting sanity back until I came to Teaneck Hackensack to pursue resident therapy program track and deal with my evident lack of reason among psychiatric patient pack who never gave me any slack. Under interrogation, the story didn't crack. So that's basically what happened. I had it was the summer after my freshman year. My freshman year, I had a very successful academic year, but I was also doing marijuana every day and a lot of drugs and everything. And finally caught up with me in the summer after my freshman year. So what happened was I was in my friend's room and the campus cops came in and said, "Are you Dale?" And I said, "Sure," because I figured out I was God. So, but I really meant it as a joke, Nicole, because the punchline being, "How could God be 5'8"? I thought this was like the best joke I'd ever come up with. So, the campus cops came in and said, "Are you Dale?" And I said, "Yes." And they said, "Would you come with us?" So I said, "Sure." I figured they were going to take me to meet the president of the university, but instead they took me on a 3-minute ride to the infirmary where for the next 4 hours I was interrogated by 3 sets of Ivy League psychiatrists. They put me in a room, shot me, gave me a shot of something, probably an antipsychotic, and 3 days later I was in a mental hospital in New York City with a roommate named Gabriel. And so this began this obviously had transformative effect on my life. And I came, after getting out of the hospital, I came to a private psychiatric residence in Hackensack, New Jersey, under the direction of one doctor, where I was given intensive therapy, 3 individual sessions a week and 2 group sessions a week. And after that, I was in there for 5 years, and I got out. I graduated from there, got out, got my own apartment, went back to college at Fairleigh Dickinson University, graduated magna cum laude in English 5 years later, and then I started an entrepreneurial journey as a private tutor, and and basically I've been going since then. But so that's the basic outline of the story.
That is incredible. And so, what are you doing now? You said you're a coach, right?
I am. I'm using my life experience with the illness to mentor the family caregivers of those with schizophrenia. Because one thing I had a couple of revelations about this when I came up with this idea. One was that I realized how much hell I'd put my own family through my illness, but more importantly, I realized that family members, family caregivers are often the what I call the forgotten victims of mental illness. And that, if someone is diagnosed and they usually have at least a doctor or a psychiatrist or psychologists or some sort of team to administer to them. But the caregivers are often like totally lost. I mean, they have like absolutely no idea about what schizophrenia is, and they're dealing with the loved one 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365. Even when he or she is going psychotic and everything. So my goal with my business, which is called Do Live Love, my initials DW, Live Love, which is a method that basically God downloaded to me. It's a it's 8-step program. Live Love is an anagram for learn, integrate, validate, explore, and then listen, observe, value, and express. So those are the 8 steps I take people through. And another thing that I came to realize is that, not only do family caregivers need help like coping with the very symptomology and just understanding the illness, but also because of the intensity of the care they have to give, they often become codependent. And so I help them break codependency and get back and reclaim their own integrity of self, which ultimately helps them become a better caregiver.
That is amazing. Talk about using a weakness and turning it into your superpower. Like you're a superhero. You're helping families who might not know what else to do. And I commend you for that, Dale. I think that is so, it's breathtaking and it's amazing. I'm honored.
Well, I appreciate that. Nah, this is, I said I might go off script, I
Do
might
it.
well go off script, but, my basic delusion or my basic belief was, hi, I'm God. And, I really meant it as a joke, but as time went on, I'm in the hospital. My roommate's name was Gabriel. This is like a little shtick I have. My roommate's name was Gabriel, who was very deferential towards my mother, Mary Alma, whose second husband's name was Joseph, and who ultimately married the judge. So, I know there's this thing called confirmation bias that the mind will
Mhm.
find evidence for beliefs and do everything to build up those beliefs. But, as time went on, the beliefs that I was God became less and less of a delusion. And well, might not have been less of a delusion, but became more and more of a belief. And this is there's something in a serious mental illness called agnosognosia. Have you ever heard of that?
I have not.
Okay, agnosognosia is a term taken from neurology for stroke victims who can't comprehend that there's something wrong with their brain.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's been transferred to psychiatric conditions. And there's actually a book by this doctor, Dr. Javier Amador, called "I'm Not Sick and I Don't Need Help." And it's the story of his interactions with his schizophrenic brother as a psychiatric doctorate. So, but
Mm.
basically, agnosognosia means that it's said to affect up to 60%, be a symptom in up to 60% of serious mental illness cases. So basically, it means the person cannot conceive that there's anything wrong with them. It's much deeper than just denial. It's just like they, it's like telling the analogy I heard was you know if you hold up a piece of paper to a blind person and say read this, then obviously he's not going to be able to do it. And agnosis were the same thing with mental illness. So
Wow.
basically for the first 10 years of my therapy, and I was also very fortunate, and basically I was forced into therapy.
Mhm.
So even though I had agnosognosia, I still had to go through therapy and everything. And actually, when I was in the program, I was hospitalized 9 times for psychotic episodes. But so what happened after 10 years was I had I experienced what I called the death of Dale, which was when I saw in my inner mind the whole earth being incinerated in a thermonuclear holocaust. I called
Oh,
that the death of Dale. And basically what I feel that was that, that God, like basically knocked the whole personality structure of Dale, killed it, but he left the body, for which I'm very grateful. So I'm still here, and I've evolved from there. But you know, this has also made me think about, to what degree was Dale actually Satan because the son of Satan is to call yourself God. So I've had 50 years to ponder these things, and basically I just feel that uh, after Dale died, I became Dewey for 30, my alter ego, Dewey. If Dale thought he was God, then Dewey thought he was an android. And last April at the solar eclipse, I reached my third stage. I have 5 personalities: Dale, Dewey, Dew, Duck, and Genius. So basically, I reached my third personality, which is Dew, which is sort of like the father, the grandfather of my personalities. And I'm much more secure in my humanity, and also much less delusional. And every day I get less delusional, and I feel that, but I couldn't really start my life of service before I got over my delusion, because one thing that sort of like was triggered by Angeli, I think her name was talking about enlightenment and everything. And what happened with me is I really feel that enlightenment without self-awareness is psychosis, and that's why I've been hospitalized 15 times, because I was always enlightened, but my self-awareness had to catch up. And you ask about overcoming yourself. The fact is that being hospitalized 15 times, I had to overcome myself seriously, because if I didn't overcome myself, I would have been put away 30 years ago.
that is that's so powerful. So powerful. Now, let me ask you this. Do you feel like gratitude has played a part in your journey to getting to this point where you are able to help others with what you went through?
Gratitude played a big part, and also, humility. I think humility is just as important as gratitude, because, even at Dartmouth, when I was walking around campus saying everybody hi to everybody, hi, I'm God. I really had like a different conception of God. I didn't want to be worshipped. It was involved with my ego, but my ego was saying God needs a vacation. I'm going to give God a vacation. He's been working for 13 billion years. So I'm going to like put myself in God's place. And, what the primary revelation that I had was God just wants to be one of the guys, you know, and so even though my whole life has been sort of like isolated in Hackensack, I have been in Hackensack for 49 years, but basically I've been isolated in Hackensack. But from that viewpoint and from that perspective, I've been able to really become one of the guys, and that's allowed me to get over my delusion. Another thing, not only did I want to give God a vacation, but I also wanted to put to rest this whole debate about whether God exists, because my freshman year at Dartmouth, my most important course for me was a course on Nietzsche, and Nietzsche's famous for saying God is dead. So, basically, I wanted to like put to rest the does God exist argument by saying, well, you can argue till you're blue in the face whether God exists, but here I am, here I am on earth, and my presence is that of God.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Now, tell me, what are 1 to 3 tips that you have for our audience? What are the most powerful tips that help you help your clients and their families?
Well, first off, be you know, if do some research into agnosognosia,
Okay.
because that's like probably the primary obstacle to people actually accepting help for their mental illness. Because if you don't think there's anything wrong, why should you put yourself through taking medication or seeing doctors that don't make you feel well? So, I would recommend Dr. Amador's book, I'm Not Sick and I Don't Need Help, because he gives like a whole, strategy for communicating through agnosognosia. So that's one thing. Secondly is realize this isn't a 2 week cold. When someone gets a serious mental illness, it's going to be a lifetime journey. I feel very fortunate that I've had 50 years to like grow out of this or grow into this. But a lot of people with schizophrenia and even bipolar, if they make it to 50 years, in actual age, not just 50 years of recovery, they're very lucky because I think 10% of schizophrenics commit suicide. So so the next part is realize that you're going to have to be in for the long run. And the third thing is I say there are four things that are essential to being a successful caregiver. One is hope, faith, love, and patience. Those four things are absolutely necessary. And I mean, there's so many people uh, who are on the street with a serious mental illness just because their family, whatever roof over their head, they couldn't like handle it, And one thing that I was thinking of just before we were coming on was insanity is imposed by society. And I think one of the things, I meant barring violence. If you aren't violent, that I've never been violent. So, but barring violence, you have to be, this is for people who are diagnosed, but also for the caregivers. Is you have to be aware of yourself and sure, and at least like have a belief that you're right no matter how many people are telling you you're wrong. I think of that movie Heaven Can Wait with Warren Beatty and Julie Christie. And at the beginning, Beatty is supposed to be dead, but he's like a quarterback for the LA Rams, and he was riding his bike through a tunnel and he got hit, but he wasn't dead. So, he's as they're loading everybody up for the plane to heaven, he's arguing. So they have like the supervisor come, and the supervisor says, the more people tell you you're wrong, the more likely you are you're right. And that really affected me in my whole journey because when I was in my first hospital, I'd say to my doctor, why am I here? There's nothing wrong with me, which is classic agnosognosia and everything. But he would say, well, Dale, if you broke your leg, you come to the hospital, right? I said, yes. And he said, well, you broke your brain. And, this was not only the cruelest thing anybody could say, but this is back in the 70s when psychiatry was basically in the dark ages. And, people,
Mhm.
once you got a serious mental illness, people figured, just write your life off and there's nothing you're ever going to be able to do. But, not only did that affect me negatively in the degree that I felt for like 30 years a certain hopelessness of dealing with the illness, but also it gave me a determination and a fight within to say, you know, screw you, doc. You might think my brain's broken, but I'm going to overcome it anyway.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. You have such an amazing story, Dale. Like I'm just humbled and overwhelmed just like I'm just proud of you. I'm proud of you because that is amazing. All right, so I want you to tell the audience, how can they get in touch with you? How can they follow you? How can they access your books? Talk to me.
Well, I was told actually my website wasn't working, but my
Uh-oh.
website is www. I think someone else tried it too, and they said it was working. So it's www dot dew live love livelove that's my website. Uh, and if people want to get in touch with me, I would suggest that you go to Calendly because I've had it set up that you can have a free 45-minute consultation or discussion with me.
Oh,
So,
wow.
so that's at www.calendly.com/DaleCoach55. And then my Instagram is Dale, dot Walsh, WALSH dot 14, or Commander Do, CMDR underline Do, DEW. So it's Commander Do. I have two accounts there. I also have a Facebook account, which is Dale Walsh, and then in parentheses, Dewey Do. And I also have, we didn't go into this, Nicole, but I also have an archive of 5,000 poems that I have done since I graduated from college, and that includes five collections on Amazon, which you can find through going to Amazon and putting in the search bar poetry collections by D.E. Walsh, and you'll probably have to scroll, but they all have distinctive covers, so I think you should be able to find them, and that's about
Awesome.
it.
And all of those links are going to be available in the show notes down below. So make sure that you check out down below to get access to all of Dale's amazing things. Thank you so much, Dale, for being here with us. Do you have any words to send us off here?
Uh, the motto of Do Live Love is recovery is always an option, and I still stand by that. But the fact is, the operative word in that is option, because if you get a mental illness, it's not going to just go away if you're sitting on your butt doing nothing and feeling sorry for yourself or letting it get worse. Because ultimately, it's a lot of work to it it's sort of like you're in a pit and you don't have a ladder, and you have to find the ladder to be able to get out of the pit. But it's a lot of work, but I just feel I like to think of myself as a model of what the potential is for someone who has been diagnosed with schizophrenia and didn't let it get him down.
I I love it. That is amazing. Thank you so much for joining us. And make sure that you check out all of Dale's amazing offers. He even has, like you said, a free 45-minute call for you guys.
Well,
And be sure to check out his poems. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
let me say one last. So,
Yes, please.
uh, so one thing that this isn't a formal book, but I wrote a memoir about what happened at Dartmouth. It's about a 50-page book, and it's called "Escape from the Ivy League" or "How Becoming God Changed My Life." And
Ooh.
so actually, I don't have any real lead magnet or anything, but if you write me at Dale, D-A-L-E, Coach, COACH 55 at outlook.com and request it, I can send you a copy of the book.
Awesome. I'll make sure that that's included in the show notes as well. Thank you so much. You've given so much. Like you have so many gifts that you've offered with all those links. So I really appreciate it, Dale. Thank you. And
Well,
we will see you guys. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm just going to say thank you very much for having me on. It's been a pleasure.
Likewise. And we'll see you guys next time here on Overcome Yourself, the podcast. Bye.